You see, guys, I just don't get it. There's companies that are making up the backbone of the tech and AI boom in 2024, but they haven't been catching a lot of attention from mainstream investors. And guess what? That's about to change. In fact, it changed today as Taiwan Semiconductor just announced earnings and crushed it, and they're up over 10% on the day. Now, I've invested in this stock quite a bit, but what is particularly interesting is that if you look at all of the semiconductor companies, they're all on a tear the past few months. And I have a index investment that I'm in that's called SOXL. It makes up all of the top semiconductor and microchip companies. And the thing is if you look at which ones are carrying that fund and really increasing the value of that fund that's growing, is Taiwan Semiconductor here. Now, why? Well, you have Taiwan Semiconductor. They've been for dozens of years, actually decades, they've been a top provider in the semiconductor space. So they're part of AMD's success. They're part of NVIDIA's success. They provide the microchips for them. They also indirectly, if they provide for NVIDIA, impact, of course, Tesla, right? Tesla is, they use NVIDIA GPUs. So now you have that aspect. The thing is, if you look at the analyst ratings, right, aside from the earnings that they beat, so they made more money than what was expected, and aside from providing materials for all those companies, including Apple, you have a 98% buy rating from 44 analysts. So what that means, guys, is there is not anyone here that's showing bearish signs on this stock. Not only that, but the fair value, which is the intrinsic value that analysts have deemed this stock to be worth, truly, is $213. Right now, this stock is at $207, even after this 10% tear today. And if we look, they're actually at an all-time high. However, they still are below their fair value and have a 98% buy rating. Now, is this going to change? Of course, these could be updated and this can change right now. But even looking at how bullish are we on AI and tech? There is so much growth. Like a lot of the time, when you look at fair values and you have something like this, the fair value is much lower than the current stock price. Doesn't that always happen? Well, you see AI and tech is advancing so fast. This is what we are seeing. Now, there's a few things that I want you guys to, again, consider when you're looking at potentially buying this stock. Couple things. The first one is if we look, so fundamentals aside, really before we get into the tech, fundamentals aside, last thing on fundamentals, they have an economic moat, right? They have partnerships with big companies, and this is allowing them to really be the main chip supplier, right? So just keep that in mind. Now, when we look at this actual chart, like let's just take a look. If we look on the moving average, a couple things happened. We had it, this is on the 1 day, we had it consistently push up throughout the whole day, just recently pushed below that 50-day moving average. So if you look on the moving average, now we're actually, on the RSI, it looks like it might actually continue up, right? The RSI is showing that it's actually a little underbought. If you look, and this is on the 1 day, if you look on the rest of today, you also have that moving average that could potentially act as a resistance, right? Because when you're on above a moving average, a lot of times, in most cases, that moving average is going to act as a support. When you get above it, a lot of times, technically, it's going to act, or when you get below it, it's going to act as a resistance, right? So MACD, actually on the 1 day, it's showing underbought. So it's just interesting. Now, if we look, of course, on the 1 week, this recent pullback after this huge soar that we had today, now it's kind of stabilizing after that pullback. But could we have seen this coming? I think absolutely we could have seen this coming, because what you have very clearly, right, is when it pushed up, and this is on Tuesday, October 15th. So not too long ago, right? 2 days ago. And it pulled back right before earnings. And of course, you guys know I'm not an advocate who says you should invest right before earnings. I don't invest because it's based on events that are hard to predict. We don't know that they were about to beat their earnings and absolutely crush it. Of course that can happen, but really, guys, it's a gamble, and you guys know I don't encourage you to invest based on events. However, event aside, you see technically it pulled back, and now it was hovering at this this support that we could see. So if I go back to the chart on the 1 week, you could see right here around $185, there's this support. It pulled back, it was at $185, again, pushed up, retested the support. There's quite indication that we're about to see an uptrend today. And that's exactly what happened. Like this chart, top to bottom, was looking like it was consolidating, getting ready to continue to push up. So just something to consider, right? The order book now, if we're looking at, what it's looking like today, we're still, it's starting to balance out after all of the push up today. So I wouldn't get in right now if you're doing a short-term investment. I would probably let this one breathe a little bit. But if you're looking long-term, to have all that information at your fingertips and kind of see, it's absolutely something that you want to keep an eye on during this tech and AI bullish movement that we're seeing throughout the entire world. And so this is just something that, I want you guys to take a look at again in the 1 year to date. Of course, you can see that this moving average is really acting as a support, right? We're seeing it push up, it's pushed up, it did pull back and then got back above that moving average. And right now, maybe a little bit overbought for a minute just because of the hype, and that's in the short term, but we could see it pull back actually using this as a support, this previous resistance of around $190. Wouldn't be surprised if it went back down to around $190. However, we could see it, it's hard to say at this moment. Would like to see some more developments, a little bit more of a pattern develop here on the 1 week kind of basis. But guys, I've invested in this company quite a bit. It's really pushed SOXL, which is the main index fund that I own that has this Taiwan semiconductor manufacturing, but also Broadcom, which is the supplier for Google and also the supplier for Meta. And so that's kind of the other side of things. But overall, guys, absolutely something, I would encourage you guys to do your own due diligence, kind of take a look at it all. And it definitely something to consider is that this AI boom and what's happening is being seen firsthand in the markets, all the way back to the companies that are providing the materials and the microchips for the main companies that everybody's been investing and hearing about. So now it's kind of catching up more to the source of the companies that are, the reason why these tech companies have the tech that they have. So something to consider. So again, guys, for those of you guys that would like to watch me trade live every single morning and you'd like to learn how to invest from your phone, we recently launched Stockmate. It's our community. You can surround yourself with other investors, entrepreneurs, and traders. And primarily, we use Robinhood to invest on our phones and on the computer. So again, it's that second link in the description to join. And I would encourage you guys, simply take a look. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.